Hello and welcome to today's session. I hope you're all doing amazingly well from whichever part of the world you are watching. It continues to be incredibly hot here in Madrid, but it's summer and that's what you expect. That said, I'm looking forward for September when I will try at least to have 1 week off. So 1 week of not looking at my emails, not doing any work. So I'm looking forward to that little break after this hot spurt right now in August. Now, today, what I'd like to talk about is how to master creating impactful wellness concepts. This will be the first video in a three-part series. And while I was preparing for today's session and the next 3 weeks, I wanted to take the learnings from the recent Wellness and Hospitality Spotlight, specifically when I heard examples from the co-founder of NV Lodges, Chris Nader, when he's talking about what it requires to create their NV Lodge concept, which heavily hinges around enhancing overall well-being, and listening to Lucia Cunha's journey going from spa director to now being a general manager of a boutique hotel in Portugal. And I wanted to understand what is it that they have mastered in order to create the impactful wellness concepts that they are creating. Those concepts that not only are successful, they're not only profitable, but they're also having a positive impact in the community, their environment, their people. And today I wanted to jump into really delve into each of the three stages involved. And today we'll talk about the first stage involved in creating that impactful wellness concept. Now, in order to get home my point, I would like to talk about the emotional cycle of change. I have talked about this before, and when I encountered it, it's the Dunning-Kruger emotional cycle of change, which I'll be sharing shortly. When I encountered that, everything started to make sense. So I have held both high end or, top positions in corporate organizations. And I've also had my own business now for 16 years. And in both scenarios, I have faced that emotional cycle of change. I have faced when I was a wellness director coming in new or taking on a regional or global position, that adrenaline rush in creating something new. And then the harsh reality of when you start implementing that new thing, how challenging that can be. I've also been in that river of misery and it has been terrible. And many times I've just, got out in the river of misery. I have not seen my concepts or my visions past, the finishing line because just being in that river of misery was so difficult. And when I had my own business now 16 years, I can assure you those 16 years these last 16 years have been nothing short of a roller coaster ride. And many times, if I look back and I thought, if there was something I had to know before I got started, what would that be? I would say it's this emotional cycle of change. And this emotional cycle of change has also informed my essence framework. And though it's a 7 step framework, the essence framework, I have split it in 3 key phases specifically to help people in the key stages of what is the emotional cycle of change, how to navigate past them. Because when you actually master those 3 phases, that is when you create a wellness concept that has impact, that is successful, that is profitable, that's a given, but it also has a very positive impact on people, on the community, on the environment. So, without further ado, today I'm going to share that presentation. If I can get that up, I'll put my keynote up here and I will share what I have prepared for you. And first, I'll be talking about the emotional cycle of change. So, we're talking about how to create, or rather, how to master creating impactful wellness concepts. And here is cunning, the Dunning-Kruger emotional cycle of change. Now, if we look at this cycle of change, we have what we call on the y-axis, that is how we are feeling. This is where we are emotionally. And when we start of any venture, be it, for example, Lucia Cunha's journey of going from spa director to hotel general manager, or, for example, Chris Nader, co-founder of NV Lodges, or Chalana Pereira, founder of Retrace Hospitality, their journeys on creating something new. We all start in phase one, and phase one is called also Mount Stupid. This is not me calling it that way, but I have to say, whoever invented that name, and that is the Dunning-Kruger emotional cycle of change, it's just the perfect name. You're in phase one, you're in Mount Stupid. This is where you are so fired, you are so positive. Clearly, whatever you're going to do is the best out there. No one else has done it the way you have done it. No one can match at all. So we're in this Mount Stupid. We have that naivety, that uninformed optimism, which is so important, because if we didn't have it, if we knew the pain that would be involved, we wouldn't do it beforehand. So we're up there in Mount Stupid, that uninformed optimism. And then when we start implementing our new vision, our new concept, that is when we start going down that valley of despair. That is when our emotional levels are going down. We go into that informed pessimism. We suddenly realize that it's not going to be as easy as we thought. We suddenly realize we have to kill a few darlings. And when we are in this state of informed pessimism, what happens is everyone else has the fault. They are the ones who don't understand our concept. They're the ones who are not giving us the support we need. Our teams are the people who don't understand us or get wellness, or our guests don't get wellness. When we are in this stage of informed pessimism, when we've started to go down that valley of despair, things can go terribly wrong. And when we go down that valley of despair, the lowest point, phase three, it's written of a valley of despair, but I call that the river of misery. And all that, going down that valley of despair into the river of misery, we are all in that river of misery, that lowest point where everything we thought about our concept is not turning out, or we feel that everything that we wanted is not turning, or everything is not working, everything is a failure, when clearly not everything. It's just one or two key things that makes us think it's everything, and we are in that river of misery. Now, what ends up happening is that we always oscillate between phase one and phase three, between Mount Stupid and the river of misery. Trust me, I have been there so many times. I've got so many t-shirts. I am very bored of that. So I know when you always enter that river of misery. But here's the key thing. If you actually work through that river of misery, you go into phase four of informed optimism, and then you finally go into phase five, which is transformation. That is when you have completely changed, you've had complete success, you feel deeply fulfilled, perhaps very different to what your initial concept and thought was, but you achieve that transformation you sought out to have. But the problem is, most of us don't get to that Mount Transformation, because we're going up between Mount Stupid and River of Misery, and then going back up to Mount Stupid, then going down into the River of Misery. It's a bit like skiing, like you will just ski down or fall down, and then you take a lift back up to Mount Stupid because you didn't enjoy your stay at River of Misery. Now, how does this emotional cycle of change actually fit with the Essence framework? Now, what I have realized is that the more prepared you are at phase one, the more prepared you are at Mount Stupid, you still have that uninformed optimism. You still want to eat the world. You still think that whatever you do is amazing. You see things, everything in, with rose-eyed glasses, rose-tinted glasses. That's only normal. But the more prepared you are at the top, the more prepared you are at the top, you actually go down that valley of despair in a far more skillful way. You can either ski down in a skillful way and actually enjoy going down the valley of despair and as much as you can, the river of misery. That is when you actually, it's so key how you actually get to the river of misery. And in my essence framework, we have the 7 stages that help you create a wellness asset: expectation, story, system, execution, navigation, consistency, and engagement. But if we look at what the 7 key stages actually want, ultimately, yes, we want to create that wellness asset, but we want to have that genuine lasting impact, be it in our jobs or be it in any project or any legacy we want to craft behind. And in order to have that genuine lasting impact, we also know that it is a result of 3 key outcomes. Proud people, you want to attract people who are proud to work with you, who believe in what you do. Transformative experiences. You want to deliver your guests those transformative experiences that they want. And you enjoy stellar performance. You have a business that is commercially sustainable. And these are most of the outcomes. These are outcomes that most hoteliers, even wellness leaders, traditional and the forward thinking ones, aspire to. Then, if we break down what we do and why we do it, we all agree that these outcomes are critical if we want to create the right, most profitable wellness offering, that wellness asset, that impactful wellness concept. So the question is, how do you get these outcomes? What are the levers that drive proud people, transformative experiences, and stellar performance? So, the lever that has the greatest impact on proud people and stellar performance is your certainty of purpose. And when you have your certainty of purpose, where it's all about moving from the state of chaos, not knowing what you do, why you do, how you do it differently, nothing. When you're in that constant state of chaos, to gain that immense clarity on where are you headed, why are you doing what you're doing, who are you serving, and how do you do hospitality and wellness in a unique way, in a way that is special to you. And of course, if you don't have that certainty of purpose, you're essentially anchorless. You are in that constant state of chaos, trying to find out something, that magic person, facility, treatment that is going to actually help you stand out from the crowd. So, in my essence framework, the 3 key accelerators that we use to drive the certainty of purpose is expectation. And that is also known as your perfect wellness concept framework. You ensure you have the asset from the get go, that your wellness concept has the potential to succeed and have impact, and also is realistic to implement. Then we go on to the second stage, the second accelerator story, and it's also known as the winning plan framework. Here we ask ourselves, how successfully are we solving the well-being related problems of our guests? Because the truth is, our guests don't come for a beautiful meal, a beautiful hotel room, or a lovely spa treatment. They're coming to solve a deep problem that they have. And then we get onto system, and system is also known as your special way framework. It is never the what, that makes you special. It's always how you do things. People will forget what you told them, but they will never forget how you make them feel. So these are the three stages that are required in order to get that certainty of purpose. And when you have that certainty of purpose, you ensure that when you are in Mount Stupid up there, you are preparing yourself with the tools, with the skills to actually very elegantly go down the valley of despair. And you might actually enjoy that. Because here is what happens when you actually don't do this. And I had that prepared here in my notes. When you don't have that certainty of purpose, you lack clear direction. You unwittingly set yourself and your team up for failure because you make it all about what you want and not what the guest actually wants. And the irony is that when you first venture out, you want to give your guests a transformative experiences, but unwittingly, you become the person who's setting everyone up for failure when you are in a constant state of chaos. And then you make your concept, whatever you implement, vulnerable to the tilts and shifts of change in key personnel or key stakeholders. So when you're actually working to create your wellness concept, it is vital that you have that certainty of purpose because that is what prepares you when you're at the top of Mount Stupid and going down the ledge, going into that valley of despair. You can either choose to go rolling down in a very unelegant and painful way and then down a very steep slope, or you can elegantly and skillfully kind of ski down that valley of despair, actually, foreseeing what might happen and in making your team also enjoy that journey down that valley of despair. So today, what I wanted to talk about is in this first part of three series video is to talk about how you prepare yourself to create that impactful wellness concept, how you master that. The first step is getting that certainty of purpose. So when you're up here in the top of Mount Stupid, you are preparing yourself, your team, your stakeholders, your community, everyone involved. You are getting them prepared and on the same page before you venture down the valley of despair. And what I'll be talking about next week is what happens when you've already gone down the valley of despair and you're in the river of misery, and what you need to do to get past that river of misery. Because I think the second phase is the most important, because that is where most of us fail, because it is such a hard phase to be in. Sometimes we end up throwing the baby away with the bathwater. So, on that lovely note, I wish you all a wonderful day ahead. Take care now. Bye.